Hi everyone, this is Professor Aquino. I'm in the process of reading and giving feedback on your essay number 1 rough drafts that you submitted earlier this week to Canvas. And I'm noticing that some of you are having trouble presenting clear and complete textual analysis in your body paragraphs. So I wanted to walk you through what I think is a better example than the ones that I've given you before. What I'm about to show you is a revised version of the sample paragraph that is part of the inductive and deductive patterns for paragraph development handout that I passed out to the class before we went on remote instruction. It's listed on our Canvas page underneath the essay number 1 assignment as part of the essay number 1 assignment module. The very first paragraph is a sample paragraph using the deductive pattern of development. And what I'm about to show you right now is a revised and improved version of that paragraph. So I'm going to go over to Microsoft Word and kind of walk you through this. So the paragraph starts with an opening inference. This is the writers telling us as readers, here's the inference that I've made about the comedian's worldview. That's going to be the focus for this paragraph that I'm writing. It's going to be the focus of the analysis that I do in this paragraph. So the writer's inference is, throughout Watchmen, the comedian's nihilist worldview leads him to deal out physical violence against other human beings. That's followed by a sentence defining what a nihilist is. But again, that first sentence is the inference that the writer wants to explain and discuss from the beginning of the paragraph all the way through the end. The next sentence or set of sentences is the presentation of evidence and facts and then analysis of those evidence and facts. Basically, this is where the writer is going to explain how they arrived at that inference through an analysis of the facts that they gathered from the novel or the facts that they focused on in the novel. So that section starts, the comedian's killing of his Vietnamese lover, who's pregnant with his child, is to many readers cruel, unnecessary, and evil. His immediate blaming of Dr. Manhattan, however, gives us further insight into his motivations, desires, and even fears. The comedian tells Dr. Manhattan, you could have changed the gun into steam or the bullets into mercury, but you didn't lift a finger. You don't really give a damn about human beings. You're drifting out of touch, Doc. God help us all. That right there is just, here's the evidence. Here's the facts that the writer wants to analyze. And following that here will be the actual analysis itself. One possible interpretation of his words is that the comedian is actually talking about himself, what psychologists refer to as projection. When the comedian repeatedly says you, he could very easily be talking about himself because he could have chosen not to shoot his lover. Yet his deeply held belief that nothing matters, combined with his anger over being assaulted, motivates him to do so. His last statement, God help us all, is an expression that communicates the fear being felt by the person who uses it. For the comedian, the statement becomes an admission of fear he himself feels For the comedian, the statement becomes an admission of fear that he feels that he himself has lost the ability to care about other human beings. In other words, God help us all, because a nihilist like the comedian does not care about what happens to the people around him. So notice with this sentence right here and this sentence right here, one thing that the writer is doing in this paragraph is pointing out the parts of the quotation that stand out the most. That's kind of kickstarting the textual analysis so that the writer has material to work with, evidence and facts to actually work with in order to explain how they drew their inference about the comedian's nihilism. God help us all, and you, as another example. From there, the rest of the paragraph, or the rest of the section that I just read, is the writer explaining the meaning that they made out of those parts of the quotation. What meaning did they make out of the repetition of you, and what meaning did they make out of the statement, God help us all? What do those two parts of the quotation tell the writer about the comedian's nihilism, why he has that nihilism how he feels about being a nihilist, everything like that. Then we move forward through the rest of the analysis. The significance of this becomes clear when we see the comedian visit his old nemesis Moloch, ask for his forgiveness for his past violent actions, and demand somebody explain it to me. The comedian reveals that he is desperate to know why things happen. In essence, he wants to know that things actually do matter. If he really truly did not care, he would not be so desperate to ask for an explanation from a former enemy. But Moloch cannot give him an answer, and without an answer, there is no relief from the fear that the comedian feels. So again, with another piece of evidence, in this case, the scene between the comedian and Moloch at the end of chapter 2 of Watchmen, the writer has pointed out this statement, somebody explained it to me, as the part of that passage, the part of that section that stands out the most. And through these sentences here, the writer is explaining the meaning that they made out of those sentences. What does that sentence, tell the writer about the comedian's nihilism? What conclusions is the writer drawing about the comedian's nihilism based on that statement? Somebody explain it to me. Then we get to the end of the paragraph, where the opening inference that the writer started with at the beginning of the paragraph is either verified, yes, what I initially thought at the beginning of the paragraph is actually true. It's revised, no, it needs to be changed in some way, or something needs to be added to my initial inference, or debunked completely. No, I was wrong, and here's actually what's going on. Thus, the two scenes reveal that the comedian feels trapped in his nihilist worldview and is looking for a means to escape, but feels utterly helpless and afraid because he is unable to do so. People who are afraid often choose between a fight or flight response to that fear, and in the case of the comedian, he lashes out violently against anyone who makes him feel afraid. So there at the end of the paragraph, there's the writer, in a sense, revising their inference. Yes, the comedian is a nihilist who is a violent person. That's the inference that they started with here at the very beginning. The comedian's nihilist worldview leads him to deal out physical violence against other human beings. But by the end of the paragraph, because of the analysis that they've done, the conclusion they've now reached has changed a little bit. And now their last inference is that the comedian is a nihilist. Yes, he is violent, but he's violent because he's afraid. And these are the things that he is afraid of or afraid about. So what I hope walking you through this revised sample paragraph has done or will do is help you navigate through the body paragraphs that you're writing and working on. Later on tonight, I'll have those rough drafts emailed back to you with my feedback and suggestions. I'm also going to email you this revised paragraph that I just walked you through here on Microsoft Word, and attach it along with the video that I'll be sending out to you. This video, of course. If you have any questions, feel free to send me an email. Leave a question on the chat. Anything like that. But again, I hope this video has helped a little bit in terms of the essay assignment that you're currently working on.